Hello friends, it's Nancy from Astrology and Angel Mediums today with another weekly check-in. I wanted to see what the vibes were going to be for this week using a weekly check-in spread. And hopefully you guys enjoy these. And hopefully I will also get a chance to do some pick-a-pile readings at some point for you guys to have, because I know you guys enjoy those. So let's get into it. I hope this week treated you well. I almost feel like any week that that is shorter is inherently busier. It almost feels like this week was even more demanding than what I typically go for with different things. So let's see. I think our very first card is what we need to know. So let's see. The Three of Air reversed. Now, what do we need to do? The Six of Water reversed. Now, let's see. What do we need to release for this week? The Five of Air. And what do we need to contemplate this week? The Nine of Fire. Okay. It looks like we are still going to be in the throes of some intense energy. So let's see. Do we want this one reversed? Let's see. Reversed. So, okay. Reversed. Okay. So here we go. Everything else is good. So what we need to do, right, is what we need to know. So what we need to know is the Three of Air. So essentially this is the heartbreak, sadness, isolation sort of card. We may be coming past or trying to move out of certain energies that have maybe felt very heavy, very challenging, that have maybe made us question exactly what's been going on. Maybe there is something that has disappointed us in some way, shape, or form. And so there is a little bit of this push and pull and feeling as though we're a little too stuck in what hasn't worked out or what is not really making us feel centered and grounded in our experiences at the current moment. So maybe you dealt with some sort of difficulties or challenges in the previous week. And so we're kind of starting off with this is what we know, is that we're feeling a little bit sad. We're feeling a little bit disconnected. We're not really giving ourselves enough of an opportunity to look at what is trying to be removed or what we need to choose actively in our lives moving forward. So it can feel a little bit confusing at the current moment because it's just not really coming together the way that we had anticipated. And that in and of itself can be kind of challenging, especially when you're used to things being a certain way. Now, if we move on to what we need to do, it's essentially really saying that maybe we're very stuck in nostalgia, childhood memories, old thoughts, maybe really focusing on what this means for us overall and what we're learning from the situation, especially when this is what we need to do, is that maybe we need to kind of lean back into the practices and connecting a little bit further with what we enjoy, what we love, what brings us comfort, what makes us feel a little bit more supported, especially the inner child kind of thing is kind of what I'm getting at the current moment. And it just feels like even in the midst of heartbreak or heartache or loss, or even seeing that things haven't really come together or haven't really worked out, we need to kind of lean into things that maybe feel a little bit more grounded, centered, and rooted for ourselves so that we can truly move into the next thing and not feel so disconnected from what it is that we really, truly want and need. Now, moving on to what we need to release, we have the Five of Air, which is essentially a card where it's almost saying it's win or lose sort of energy. It's where there are some challenges coming up, there's some sort of conflict, there's some sort of obstacle, and maybe we just need to kind of let that go. The whole sense of having to fight for certain things, it doesn't always mean that it's going to allow us to see things quite as clearly as we need to. And so I feel like with this card, especially with this being in the to release, is that maybe there's some things that we have been contemplating within ourselves that aren't really in alignment with what the universe is wanting for us. So maybe it's an opportunity for us to kind of cut away and overcome anything that we feel has been limiting us in some way, and also moving out of certain patterns that don't really necessarily allow us to see what we really truly are focused on. And I feel like with the Five of Swords, because that's essentially what this card is that we don't always really see what we are doing with our actions or the choices that we kind of make, and how that may affect some of the people around us. And I think it's interesting because here, even the imagery here where it's like, this is a suffragette, vote for women. And then we have two Black women in the background, kind of like with the little swords or the little, what are those called? The little garden shears all over the ground. And it's almost saying like, you're winning, but at what cost? How is it that maybe this situation is not really allowing you to truly be who you need to be, or allowing you to truly see what is actually happening with your situation. So while it may feel like you're winning, there's something that is still going to be lost. There's still something that isn't really coming together and clicking into place the way that it should be. And I think having this card at the beginning with what we need to know, I think it's almost saying like, sometimes in our hurt, we don't realize how we're also hurting others, or how our capacity to continuously hurt others in our own pain, in our own heartache, in our own sadness and isolation. We don't always realize what that looks like on the other end for everyone else. And finally, what we need to contemplate is the Nine of Fire or the Nine of Wands. I think that this is almost saying like, we're just really exhausted. We're really tired. We're not honoring ourselves. We're not resting. We're not reconsidering. We're not taking enough time out to reconnect with ourselves. We're not taking enough time to honor what it is that we need to kind of recognize and realize all of the hard work that we've put in, what we have accomplished, what has been coming together, what is needed in certain ways. And I think with the Nine of Wands, it's almost saying like, okay, what do we want with this momentum, this movement, this fire that we've been kind of focusing on? And what does that look like for ourselves for the long term? And if we haven't really been honoring some of that, then when are we going to take a step back and say, okay, I need to take care of myself. I need to prioritize myself. I need to do something that feels good for me so that I'm not feeling so disconnected. So I'm not feeling like so exhausted by things. And I think with this being to contemplate is that maybe we're so close to certain goals, but we haven't really recognized what we've had to sacrifice, how it affects some of the things that we've learned about ourselves, as well as what we have to kind of cut away, and some of the sacrifices or obstacles that kind of come up because of that. And maybe it's a reminder to take a step back and contemplate everything that we have been facing currently and what that means for us as a whole, and essentially what really matters for us, and what we're trying to kind of call in at this time. So with this week being not shorter, I felt like last week was shorter just because of the holiday. I also wanted to kind of pull this Elemental Empath card just as like a, what else do we have going on here? What else do we have here? All right, so we have compassion for ourselves, for others. to soften our hearts, to be gentle, and to see the good. It does seem like some of this energy is going to be a little bit heavier, or it's going to be a little bit more challenging than we're used to. And I think with being compassionate with ourselves, or being gentle just in general, I think that whenever we're gentle with ourselves, when we're patient with ourselves, it gives us an opportunity to also extend that outward and being patient with others. And I feel like with everything going on energetically and astrologically and just culturally and societally, I think a lot of us are lacking a little bit of compassion for ourselves and for the people that are surrounding us. And so I think that this card is almost saying like we just need to take some time out to just be gentle, to be kind of in this like soft heart energy, especially with this 9 of fire, so that we can start honoring where we need to rest, what we need to kind of take some time out to be compassionate and kind to ourselves over the losses that we've experienced and some of the challenges that we have endured. So I hope that makes sense. I hope you guys enjoy these. I think it's a nice little way to kind of check in, kind of see overall what to expect for the week, while also not like drawing a card for the day and just kind of focusing for the overall energy. So let me know what you guys think and how these work for you. As always, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining me. Please take care, stay safe, and as always, make good choices. Bye.